of things to unpack from what happened today in court. We also heard from the U.S. attorneys. We have Brett Bloomston, who is in studio with us today. He has more than 27 years of experience in federal and state court. And we want to bring you in and kind of, I think we're all just right now just so emotional hearing from Beth Holloway, because we can only imagine what it is like to be in her shoes, to have gone through this for all these years, and to finally today be able to look Joran van der Sloot in the eyes and say that you killed my daughter.
What an emotional day, and God willing, her family does get the closure, or at least feel that they're no longer the victim in this situation. It's been a very, very interesting legal journey to get to this point. And again, the purpose of today's hearing was a plea and sentencing on extortion and wire fraud charges only. However, we just heard from the Holloway family and the U.S. attorney that it turned into quite a bit more, where a public disclosure was made that he in fact killed Natalee Holloway, and the sentence, I think, is commensurate with what he deserved. We had talked before the sentencing about what his potential exposure was. Well, Judge Manasco sentenced him to the very maximum sentence that he could receive on these charges, and that sentence will run concurrent with his sentence that he's serving in Peru right now. He may never get out of jail. I understand that he is serving an additional sentence, not only for the killing of this young lady, Flores, but also for trafficking in cocaine while he was in custody. So hopefully he will never have to be back in Alabama again. I think that would provide closure to this family.
You know, Brett, one thing that we've talked about today is just every aspect of this day, from the fact that this was a plea hearing followed immediately by a sentencing, the fact that the conditions of this plea agreement, releasing the details of Natalee's disappearance, a lot of things about today, you said, so unusual and not something that we ever see.
And again, I think the U.S. Attorney's Office wanted to keep things close to the vest and not have any public input, and also protecting the family from any more publicity than they've already dealt with. But certainly an unusual path. We're used to plea agreements being public and filed in record so we could reference them to see what the facts are. And apparently in this situation, the plea agreements were sealed, or the plea agreement was sealed, and it will be disclosed along with his proffer. There was some talk about his proffer, his admissions, if you will, and I'm sure we're all very curious to read those. I have a concern about the veracity. Apparently Ms. Holloway says that this was all verified through polygraph examination. He does have a track record of lying under oath, and had lied to form the basis of these extortion charges. So I hope that there's some verification in there. Again, the family seems very confident that there has been that verification, that he is finally being truthful. And it does nothing better for the system and for the family for van der Sloot to be sentenced to this max sentence and be sent out of the country back to Peru.
And that's what I was going to ask you about. I think we heard during John Papke's report that the judge basically says from here he's immediately going back to Peru. So as far as any legal proceedings here in the U.S., this is a done deal.
That should be it. I don't know of any other reason why he would be held in the States. And again, as exchange for him to come to the U.S. on these charges, Peru said we want him back immediately upon completion, and this would be a completion of this matter.
And just for our viewers that maybe may not be aware, because we talked about this a little bit while we were listening into the reporting today, that this pretty much based on the laws in Aruba, he's not going to probably be charged with murder in Aruba, even with this confession or this admission there.
Yes, I'm sorry. My understanding of the Arubian law is that the statute of limitations was a short statute of limitations, I believe 12 or 14 years, but long since passed, and they wouldn't have jurisdiction to prosecute him for his admissions today. A global sense of justice. He's serving a 28-year sentence for a previous murder. There's an additional 18 years, I believe, for drug trafficking while he's in custody in Peru. So I don't know that he'll ever see the light of day. And, you know, for the sake of the Holloway family, I hope he doesn't.
Talk to us a little bit about the U.S. Attorney's Office and the job they did carrying this case all the way through and how they were able to get a plea deal on the table.
Well, I remember distinctly when he was indicted in 2010, and the issue was, you know, we'll never get any justice, we'll never get any closure because he's not even in the country. But this U.S. Attorney's Office has stayed tenacious and sought his extradition after, you know, years of negotiating with the Peruvian officials. And goodness gracious, look what it did. It actually, the extortion prosecution provided a vehicle, provided a way for the Holloway family to get some closure. It did exactly what I believe Joyce Vance, our former U.S. attorney, wanted to see happen, and that was use that as a tool to get him back here and get that confession out of him. So although we're across the aisles most of the time, the U.S. Attorney's Office and my office, they did a remarkable job in getting this to fruition today.